The song What is Love by Hathaway talks about a love that, although the person that is giving the role to the other, there is a clear disinterest from the other part, creating this feeling of frustration where, despite the best efforts and intentions, despite how much time and effort you put on something, it cannot happen. And this happens because of, well, frustration. But what is frustration? Well, according to these guys, frustration is a key negative emotion that roots in disappointment and can be defined as irritable distress in response to limitation, exclusion, and failure. It evolved to deal with a particular evolutionary recurrent situation type and is experienced when people encounter unresolved problems such as contextual or psychological barriers or obstructions which must be removed to fulfill personal goals, desires, drives, or needs. Frustration comes from a feeling of being stuck, of having an immense effort output that does not correlate at all with the amount of reward one is receiving. First of all, I think that no emotion should be given a label of bad or evil.
You can't!
A psychologist of mine once told me that emotions are feedback given by ourselves so that we understand how we are feeling by a certain situation. This feeling only turns negative when an emotion becomes so overwhelming or constant that we cannot function normally. If it sounds a little too polished, it's because I don't remember the exact words he said. I just remember the outline of the message. He told me this like 5 years ago. We will find frustration in many aspects of our lives, not only in our romantic lives, but our professional, our personal, or in all of it. But while it's an inevitable part of life, what should we do if we are just plain stuck? Not only because you feel like you've tried everything, but also because you don't even know what to do. In my experience, I would say this happens because of one of two reasons: either shitty decisions or bad luck. The good thing is that no matter the reason why it happens, the solution is the same. The bad thing is that the solution usually is pretty hard to get. First of all, stop punishing yourself. At this point, it really doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. You have to find a solution, and you cannot find it if you're too busy thinking stuff like, I already tried everything and there's no point in trying again, or I deserve to be in this situation. This type of thoughts tax you a lot. A lot. It's almost like the IRS, and just like the IRS, they'll take everything from you if you let them. Tax evasion is the greatest thing that has ever happened. Please don't put me in jail, I'm not even American. Second, find what type of situation you're in. Yes, there are moments, occasions where living is simply not possible. There are others where, although very hard, you can leave. It's simply up to you. Going back to the song, the lack of reciprocity from a loved one can be painful. And if you have noticed that you've reached a dead point in your situation, it's better to leave it at that. We become so convinced that something can happen, that something good can come out of it, that we don't realize that we have slowly created a prison for ourselves. And the only ones that can take it out of it is us. Because although a friend or a family member can help us open our eyes and notice the situation that we're in, if we decide to stay blind, there's nothing that others can do. You can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. So do yourself a favor and help yourself. So now, what if my situation is one that I can get out of? There are situations in life where we can't just leave. Even if it was the healthier option, it's simply not possible. Wanting to leave a horrible job, but not being able to do so because of a death, for example. There are moments where life doesn't give us much choice. Here you can apply The beautiful philosophy of noticing the things you should give a fuck about. This is a topic that is well covered in a wonderfully titled book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, by Mark Manson, where it explains that we usually like to do things more complicated than they actually are. We have the tendency of creating more problems and worrying about more things than we actually should. So find the things that are worth giving a fuck. Find the things that, despite the struggle, there is something good in the end. There is something that you can get out of it. And if at the end of this entire analysis and mumbo jumbo that I'm saying, and that you check on yourself, there are things that you hate that frustrate you, but you have to keep going, find the things that you like. Yes, this sounds like the shittiest advice ever. It's like being told, oh man, I'm sorry that you are depressed, but try to be happy. So let me explain. One thing that can help you when you are in a miserable situation is doing things that you like. If you enjoy reading, doing exercise, anything, do it. Do it so the thing that is making you feel bad doesn't affect you that much. Doesn't matter how simple, how small they may seem, they can make a huge impact on your mental state. For example, me. It's not like it solved my life and magically became a functioning member of society. But when I went to the gym, or play guitar, or simply spend time with loved ones, those days felt lighter. Plus, it made me find new passions and lead me to things I didn't know I could. So, although a situation might seem inescapable, believe me, there is always something you can do that can make your days a little lighter. So, when you sum them all up, you'll feel like you can go on. If we can let something small like stepping on shit or bad weather mess our day up, we can let small good things like finding new music, having a good conversation, or petting a random dog on the street lighting our day. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, things can only hurt us if we let them.
Hello everyone, that was the end of the video. Just wanted to pop out at the end to mention that obviously this is my first ever video. I still have a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to practice, but I basically learned the things on the run because I've never done a video like this, I've never done something like this, but I've always liked writing and this looked like a very good opportunity to express myself. Big thanks to Cameron Guinness, who despite being unknown, he gave me permission to use his music in the video. Basically, all of the songs used in here are his from the soundtrack of Arctic X, which is an amazing game. Honestly, the soundtrack is probably one of the greatest soundtracks that I've ever heard. So if you randomly stumbled upon the video and you like what you heard, please give him a follow, check out his stuff, it's really good. Thanks for watching. I might be uploading a little bit more. I also want to polish my editing abilities a little bit more. So, I'll be learning on the run. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any piece of advice, I'll gladly take it. And I hope you all have a nice day.